Hello. We want to welcome you to our show today, the Sunnyside Community Voice, coming out of Sunnyside, Texas. I am your host today, Shirley King, and today we have a very exciting show. We have a special guest with us today, one who is a friend of ours, who's been around us for a while, and we count him as our friend. And today our show is going to be on immigration. What's going on with immigration? To my right here, I have Pastor Nash, who is our CEO of the Community Voice, and our guest today is Mr. Gordon Quam, who is a friend of ours, been a friend of ours for a long time. He's a former city council member. He is former mayor pro temp, and now he's in private practice with as an immigration attorney. And today we brought him on the show because we want him to explain a little bit about what's going on with immigration. If you want to know, you go to the source. So we felt like we wanted to bring him on the show and let him just kind of talk to us a little bit about immigration, and it affects all of us, you all. There's so many myths out there. There's so many things being said. So we want him to kind of, and the time that we have to kind of talk to us a little bit about immigration. We want to thank you, Mr. Quam, for being here with us today.
Shirley, Pastor Nash, thank you very much. You've always been so involved in the community and trying to keep everybody informed. So I thank you for this opportunity to be on the show with you. You know, immigration has become the big issue of the day. As you see in these Republican debates with Governor Perry, with Mr. Kaine, with Governor Romney, immigration is the big issue. And, you know, the problem is, and you know, I know you guys are very good Christian individuals, and sometimes I look back at the Bible, you know, what the Lord said about it. You know, to welcome the stranger, because we were once strangers in Egypt ourselves, and we oftentimes seem to forget that we all came from someplace.
Exactly.
You know, even the Native American Indians came from someplace.
Exactly.
But it seems like we always want to raise that ladder once we got in there and forget to let anybody else come in. But you know, we are, of course, a country based upon immigration. And as a city council member before, one of the things I thought was very interesting is that our growth as a city came because of immigrants. If we did not bring immigrants to our city, we would be in decline. Like so many cities in the Northeast, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Detroit. And what happens is that when your base reduces, that means there's a heavier burden on the people who are left behind to pay your taxes, to pay for the police, to get those public services. We are actually blessed because we have a growing economy, and a lot of that is based upon immigrants coming. Now, I know people are going to say, wait, I love immigration, but I don't like illegal people coming. I mean, that's my problem. They got to do it the legal way. But people often don't understand what legal means. You know, you look back at Ellis Island, you say, you know, hey, my grandparents came through Ellis Island. Ellis Island was basically a quarantine station. Anybody could come to the United States. They went to Ellis Island just to make sure they had no contagious diseases. If they could walk those steps up, they were in. That's it. Nowadays, we have a quota of how many people can come to the country legally. That quota has not been changed in over 20 years. And right now, there are about 3 million people waiting in line to come legally to the United States. Families are being separated. Employers, you know, if a skilled worker, it takes 6 or 7 years before their date will even come up under the quota system. We have an antiquated system, and as a result, people are just coming in because there's a need for them. And so we need to have what we call comprehensive immigration reform, a review of the whole system and what our priorities are of people coming in. You know, as a lawyer, I know that my clients would rather come legally than illegally. Why do you want to pay somebody to smuggle you in the country, take a risk of your life dying in the desert, if I could do it legally? So these people are coming for the very reason our parents, our grandparents all came, to a better life for their families. So let's talk about what does this all mean.
Of course. You know, God, I'm glad you said that, and let me thank you again for coming on the show.
explain to us again about how the process of someone coming in being confirmed to be legal and illegal. And you said something positive about why would you even want to be smuggled in? Because it creates a lot of problems, first of all. Now, I know oftentimes you hear candidates say, and many other races say that the people come in and take jobs. But I see these people standing on at these building places like Lowe's and other, I want to call a name, but they're standing there hoping somebody will hire them. Now, my problem is that they're taken advantage of because when they find out that they are in the country illegal, and you're going to explain that to us, well, they take advantage of them. I hate to see where I'm seeing a person working, and then they're being robbed. You got a family that a child is born in this country, and the child is educated, then all of a sudden they want to put them out of the country. See, those things kind of disturb me. Now, I really wish you would put some emphasis on how a person can come in and be classified as legal.
Okay. Basically, there are three avenues. One is a family member to sponsor you. Two is by your job. And three is asylum or political unrest in your home country. So let's go into that. Relative petition. This has to be an immediate relative like your mother, father, brother, sister, or your spouse that can sponsor you. And right now, if you want it as a U.S. citizen, you want to sponsor your brother, the world quota, he's looking at least 15 years before he can come. Wow. If you got married to you're a permanent resident, you sponsor your wife, you're looking at 5 years before she and your kids could come. So those quotas are all very far behind. Say you're a very skilled engineer, okay, and the company says, Reverend Nash, we need your services. In order for that company to sponsor you, we have to advertise for U.S. workers, see if Americans are out there. We post notice in the newspaper. We place a job order with the Workforce Commission. We post notice at your place of employment. And only when we can't find qualified U.S. workers will you be getting a certification from the Department of Labor. And then you're waiting 6 more years till you can come.
Right.
You know, industry is having a hard time because they're like, I need him today. Who knows 6 years if I'll even be around. So those are the two main ways. The third one, we are signatories to an international convention on asylum. When a person is outside of their home country and fears persecution because of their race, religion, nationality, membership in a particular social group, that they cannot go back to their home country, then the United States can grant asylum. But it's an international standard. If you're safe in France or Canada, we won't take you because you're safe already. So it's still very restrictive. So it's not like an easy method for anybody just to come into the United States.
Then that would be why I see so many people trying to get in, because they have to wait so long. I've worked with people. As a matter of fact, a lady from the Philippines I work with, and she said it took her almost 15 years to get her status here, and then she still has to work on her husband because he was behind her. So it is. So I'm hearing that it's just not an easy. It's just not an easy thing. It doesn't happen overnight.
There was a time prior to 1952 and in the 60s where people could come very easily if you were from. But our law is considered one of the most racist laws, to tell you the truth. For so many years, Asians were considered inferior people. We didn't want those people here. But if you were European, you had a job letter, and you were from England, come on in. So in '65, we changed the system to be more fair and equitable to everybody. But over time, these backlogs have developed, and we have not been responsive in changing the laws to meet the needs of society.
Now, is the backlog due to the amount of people wanting to come? Or is the backlog due to the way the law is written, and we haven't caught up to all the people who want to come in? I guess
it's a combination of both, Shirley.
Okay.
The way the law was written, it was, again, the last major change was in 1990, and At that time, we thought the quota would be sufficient to meet the needs of the public. After a while, it turns out that it just wasn't sufficient, but Congress has not taken action to address that need. There has been talk of having a commission that would look at conditions in the country to increase or decrease the quota based upon our needs as a country, but nothing has ever happened. Every year we hear immigration reform is coming, but it doesn't come. And that's why you see such frustration amongst people.
Yeah. You know, and also now we know that in the presidential race for the White House, the hot topic now is immigration. And I've heard all kind of rhetoric, electric fences and double fences. And I think what happened, it changes so people are trying to play a certain conversational role in order to get the Latino vote. And I think they're saying the thing that's kosher. But my thing about, when you're talking about electric fences and like that, you're talking about harming people. Regardless, legal or illegal, to me, it's almost like you're talking about killing chickens and dogs rather than harming people. And America, at one time, set a standard for immigrants coming to the country, but all of a sudden, you know, it's taboo for people to want to come into the country. Now, also, we have this situation where some people that are in the country illegally have committed crimes. But again, they're stereotyping because one individual might not be a criminal. What you're doing, you're lumping a lot of people in the same bag. And to me, now this is not a political show, but sometimes what people will say anything to get elected. And I have a problem with that because, again, you got a kid that's raised up here in America, okay? And all of a sudden, they find out the parents are in here illegal. They want to take the kid and send them out of the country. Now, to me, that's a hard thing as well. Okay, so what do? We play to the voters to the extent that we say anything to get elected or get a certain segment of people to vote for them. See, so when you're talking about examining, we had to look at it from the inception that people was coming to the country. And I'm glad you're here because now you really explain to us the process of becoming legal. And I would say to the audience that at all costs, if possible, go through the proper means, the proper challenge, because it end up hurting your family, your kids somewhere down the line.
Can I just